All right, welcome to The Explainer. For years, there's been one ghost haunting the world of electric cars: range anxiety. Well, what if I told you that entire fear is pretty much dead? Today, we're going to dig into why that one metric we've all obsessed over is basically becoming, well, obsolete. For the better part of a decade, this has been it. The first and honestly the only question that really mattered when you talked about an EV. I mean, this was the yardstick, right? The number one thing on every single brochure, the stat that could make or break a new electric car. And, it made sense. This whole anxiety thing, it wasn't just in our heads. It came from a pretty harsh reality of early EVs that, frankly, couldn't go very far, and a charging network that was, well, let's just say it was sparse. The thought of getting stranded was very, very real. But here's the thing. We're in the middle of this huge shift in the EV world. We're going to show you why asking about max miles is totally the wrong way to think about it now, and we'll tell you the new question that actually matters. The entire philosophy is being flipped on its head. It is no longer about how far you can possibly go on one massive charge. It's all about how fast you can get back on the move. So the new question, the smarter question, is something totally different. It's, hey, how many miles can I get back in the 5 or 10 minutes it takes me to grab a coffee? You see, the old way of thinking was just brute force. Just cram the biggest, heaviest battery you possibly could into the car. But that made them expensive, heavy, and pretty inefficient. The new focus is on something called total travel time. We're finally realizing that taking a couple of super quick 10-minute stops is way, way smarter than just dragging around a giant battery that takes an age to charge up. So how did this happen? How do we go from a 45-minute chore to a 10-minute pit stop? What tech made this feel like science fiction just a few years ago? Well, it wasn't just one magic bullet. It was actually a powerful combo of three key innovations all working together. Okay, so these three things, they're basically the foundation for this whole new charging experience. They work in perfect sync to make charging almost as quick as hitting a gas station. Let's break them down. All right, first up, 800-volt architecture. Now think of voltage like water pressure in a hose. For years, cars used a 400-volt system. By doubling that pressure to 800 volts, you can just blast way more power into the battery in the same amount of time, and you do it with less waste heat. This right here, this is the key that unlocked those crazy fast charging speeds. Next up is the battery chemistry itself. This C rating is basically a measure of how fast a battery can safely suck up power. So a 5C rating means you can theoretically charge the entire battery 5 times in 1 hour. Or, to put it another way, go from nearly empty to full in just 12 minutes. Insane, right? And thanks to some real innovators out there, this isn't just for super expensive cars anymore. This is quickly becoming the new standard. And the last piece of this puzzle? It's all about being smart. Your car is now predictive. When you set your navigation to a fast charger, the car is already getting its own battery ready. It's warming it up or cooling it down to the absolute perfect temperature. So the second you plug that cable in, bam, you're getting the fastest possible speed. No waiting, no wasted time. So you put all three of those things together, and what do you get? You get charging speeds of 300 kilowatts or even more. And that kind of power, well, it's a complete game changer. It's what turns that long, boring wait into a super quick, convenient little break. Okay, so all this new speed brings us to a really interesting and kind of counterintuitive idea. Bigger is not better anymore. Seriously. When we're talking about modern EV batteries, a smaller, smarter battery pack wins in almost every single category. I mean, just look at the comparison here. The smaller, optimized battery, it weighs literally half as much, which means the car is lighter and more fun to drive. It's way cheaper to build, so the car itself is more affordable. The charge time, it gets slashed from almost an hour down to like 15 minutes. And maybe most importantly, its environmental footprint is cut in half. It is a win-win-win-win. So the tech is there, right? We've seen how it's evolved. But now, let's talk about what this actually feels like on the road. Because with range anxiety pretty much solved, the final hurdle isn't the car anymore. It's the chargers themselves. And that brings us to charger anxiety. You know that feeling, right? That sinking pit in your stomach when you pull up to a charging station and every single slot is taken, or worse, they're all broken. This is the new frontier, the new challenge the industry is tackling right now. And the fix isn't just build more chargers. It's about building smarter infrastructure. So instead of those lonely, sometimes sketchy single chargers, we're seeing these big, reliable hubs pop up that feel more like a modern gas station. We've got tech like Plug and Charge, where you don't even need an app or a card. You just plug in and it all happens automatically. And get this, with Vehicle to Grid, your car can actually become an asset, selling power back to the grid and earning you money. How cool is that? So, what does this all mean for you, the person behind the wheel? Well, it's the end of obsessively planning your road trips on 5 different apps. It's simple. You get in the car, you pop in your destination, and the car does all the work. It automatically plans these super quick 10 or 15-minute charging stops that just feel like a normal part of your trip. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Real luxury in this new world isn't about having a giant battery. It's about never even having to think about charging. It just happens. It's a seamless part of your journey, completely in the background. So the big takeaway here is pretty simple. True freedom in an EV isn't about the maximum number of miles anymore. It's about the minimum number of minutes. It's all about the speed of rotation, spending less time hooked up to a cable and more time actually living your life on the move. That is the huge shift that's making EVs smarter, better, and finally, just plain easier for everyone. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on this explainer. We really, truly appreciate you giving us your time and attention.